as an African, I believe my essence is my culture, where I come from. I just try to stay in alignment with that in everything I do.
In a world that tries to tell creatives who they are and tell them to niche, there are creatives who are breaking out of that mold and creating their own identity.
Je dis, artiste et martyr sont des synonymes quand on vient d'une famille africaine et religieuse. You cannot call yourself a creative or a great mind if you have never been criticized or never been looked down to.
Our guest today is a multi-potentialite creative who is into painting, modeling, styling, and all the works. The biggest challenge you faced as a creative in Cameroon right now?
The list is so long. In our industry, people are so full of ego at times and clout chasing.
One of the problems I personally have with the fashion industry is limitations.
When you do what you do, when you do it with love and consistency, you always get to places you couldn't imagine yourself there. And I truly believe that to build an industry, you definitely need to know how to handle partnerships, how to collaborate.
What does fashion mean to you?
Honestly,
what's up, everybody? Quoi, Neuf. Welcome to another episode of the show, and just like every other episode, we have a guest, and that's why I'm always excited and I always look forward to having them. Like I said, our guest today is one who is not boxed in, who has refused to be told who he is and has created his identity into every form of art and creativity that he wants. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is none other than the Christian Siakam in person. Hi, Christian.
hi Jemma, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. So
Well,
nice
you're
to be
looking
here.
so chill, and I feel like, I'm so bubbly, and you're just, I'm good, I'm
Nah, the
fine.
thing is that I'm so happy to be here since we have been planning to do this for a while, and
Yeah.
finally, even with the rain and all the rest, I'm
You're
here.
here?
Yeah. So,
Okay. So it's good to have you on the show. So before we get into all the conversations that we have, I love to set the mood right, and we're going to play a little game.
let's go.
Okay, so the game is this or that, right?
Okay.
Do you prefer modeling or styling?
Styling.
I knew it.
Styling.
Do you prefer working during the day or at night?
Night.
Night worker. It's typical. Creative direction or art direction?
That's more difficult than the two previous ones. I would say creative direction.
Okay.
And I can say why, because my dream or what I'm looking up to is becoming like a kind of I want to walk into cinematography. Yeah,
Okay.
like my main goal as an artist, as a creative. And I believe that creative direction goes a lot with that, since it's how can I say it, the basis of a project.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it.
Let me give you another tricky one.
Go.
Silver accessories or gold accessories?
I can't choose, honestly. I'm gonna say both, because as a
Okay.
stylist, you must be able to wear anything you have on your hand. So both.
Okay. So abstract painting or themed painting?
Can you say that again, please?
Abstract painting,
Yeah.
or a painting that you have a particular theme you have to follow?
Abstract, for sure.
Abstract. Okay.
I love freedom. So
I mean, okay, thank you for indulging me in that game. And I mean, you're here finally, and I'm happy to have you. And the past few weeks has been a lot about Fashion Week. There has been fashion weeks that have been happening, collections and all of that. Most recently in Cameroon, we had the Mboti Fashion Week, right? What would you say is something you are looking forward to when it comes to like Fashion Week? Is there a particular country you'd like to be in, or is there a particular brand you want to work with? So yeah.
yeah. First thing I will say is that with the Demna era at Balenciaga, Balenciaga has always been my favorite brand from that time. And it's like, okay, I said to myself one day that I wish I could work with them now one day, no matter where he is. But I will still go for Balenciaga because their runways, like everything about their runways when fashion weeks arrive was always like wow, incredible, like the ideas, like the set, the way people are sitting, the performance doing the runs and stuff, they were always amazing. And yeah, that's what I've been always
Looking
looking up
forward
to
to. Yeah.
when the fashion week time was about to come. But for the moment, like for now, nowadays, I'm more like exploring little brands, like especially from Africa. I
Okay.
went to Ivory Coast and I met a crazy team. They have a brand that's called Jemma, and that's actually my favorite African brand
Okay.
nowadays, since I really like the story behind and all of that. So I'm more connected with local
Okay.
African brands, like underground brands. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. That's nice. So, what does fashion mean to you? Because, when we see you're always stylish, you're always put together, and I know
Thank
fashion
you.
is like an integral part of your art and your expression. So, what does
Yeah.
fashion mean to you?
Honestly, I wanted to say everything, but fashion is actually the basic, like the basis for me. Like as a human being, you need to dress up, right? I know there are people that doesn't like dresses and stuff. That's another subject. But I feel like as a human being, we are all doing fashion. Like every day when you wake up, you dress yourself. Like you choose pieces in your wardrobe and put them into together on yourself to make
But
a
some
proper
people don't
outfit.
choose. They're just like, oh, what's the first thing I see? Oh, let's.
But finally, they always make a choice at the end of the day.
You have a
So,
point.
but for me, it's deeper than that because I've always wanted to be kind of different everywhere. I'm going everywhere I stand. I always wanted to be like outstanding because maybe the world treated me or always treated me like somebody who is always aside, or I've been built like that because of the universe, of the society, my family and stuff. I always had crazy ideas, so I wanted something that could help me to make a kind of affirmation of my core, of what I am, of what I want to express. And for me, the best way at the beginning, at that moment, was my dressing, my style. So sending messages just by being stylish, you know.
That's so cool because the way you carry yourself or the way you appear every time, it kind of feels effortless. It's like you don't make an effort. It's just giving. I woke up like this.
Oh,
So yeah, and I know that aside being a stylist, you are also a model. So it's like you are both the canvas and the artist at the same time, right?
yeah.
So how has your understanding of these two perspectives, informed your thoughts about fashion as a means of communication or affirming your identity, like you said?
I didn't told you something is that I'm a big fan of runways. That's why, as an artistic director, I regularly direct runways event around runways, and I started interacting with runways through modeling, like doing the works and stuff, wearing the clothes, cause I really love clothes, by the way. So I've been doing it for a while in our context, and you know our context, you know the industry and stuff. It's not that developed as what we see overseas or in other African countries. So I said to myself, I want to be part of the change, and being part of the change meant to me to direct, like from the styling to the set to how people are going to work and stuff. So the connection was not that difficult at that time since I knew what they go through, like what models go through, and I knew what they were lacking of or what was missing. So I just said, okay, I experienced it, so I have the solutions. And that's how I just made the jump from modeling to styling, directing, and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because it's a domain where you are always learning, you are always inventing, creating, because you don't want to do the same thing you did previously.
Yes.
So you always have to be creative, reinventing yourself, your perspectives, your way of thinking. And yeah, that's the thing, that's the most interesting thing in the domain for me. But that's all I can say about that. I just felt like I need to do that jump and I did it. So that's how things went. Yeah.
Now, being in an industry that's the creative industry that tries to tell you you have to pick one, you have to be this, we have to know you as this, we have to know Christian Siakam as a stylist, or we have to know him as an art director. You have to pick one thing, but then you've been able to show us different spheres of yourself.
Yeah.
You've moved from just being the model or the stylist to being a full rounded artist. You've ventured into painting, to writing, to poetry, and all of these things that are all parts of you, right? How would you say you were able to, break out of that mold of, I just want to niche, I just want to be known as this in an industry that forces you to, try to stick to one thing?
So at the beginning, I told you that I like freedom
Yeah.
and I'm a free mind, a real free mind, and I always try to stick to that. So when I started with fashion, I was like, okay, fashion was really natural, like effortless for me, since I have a kind of, how can I say it? My sight when I see things is like different at times.
Yeah.
So that was really easy for me, but I was always finding a lot of ways to express myself on different scales. And the thing is that I'm not that, in the beginning, I'm not that type of social person, social guy. And it was really difficult for me to get into the how can I say it, into the crowd, into the society. Like being a human in this society is not easy at
It's
all.
not.
And I had that period where I was finding ways to express, to interact with people. And the easiest way for me was just going by my craft, my my creativity. So I started writing because I wanted to put my wounds and thoughts into words, so that I can share it to who wants to read it without letting them know that it's me, the subject in it, actually. So that's how I decided to start writing. It was very personal at the beginning, but I remember a day I shared a poem on my Instagram story and WhatsApp story, and people were like, "Bro, is it you wrote this thing? You need to do more. You need to do more. You need to do more." And I said to myself, "Okay, just just try it, since it doesn't cost me anything, and I'm like a healing when I start writing." And that's how I started writing more and more. And today I've been participating in a lot of projects as a writer. Now you have photography. Photography is the third thing that came, or maybe the second, I don't remember. But I like beautiful things. So I can be sitting on a bench and see maybe a cup of coffee that is scratched on the floor, and I say to myself, that's so beautiful. And I'll take a picture of it and just drop it. So that's how I've been taking a lot and a lot and a lot of pictures, and started making series and exhibited them for events, or maybe give them to people, or collaborating with people who want to use them for their projects or stuff. And after that, you have painting. Painting, I've been always drawing. Honestly, since my young age, I've been always drawing. I used to draw a lot of mangas, what they call in French, bande dessinée, les romans et tout ça. So we were really connected to that when we were younger. And when I grew up, I was like, hey, I used to draw. And I found an old book where I used to do my drawings when I was maybe in high school, yeah, in high school. and I started doing new drawings in it. One day I said to myself, I need to try a new surface, like a new support, a nouveau support. So that's how I decided to start with walls, new materials, canvases, and more and more.
And just exploring them.
Exactly. I'm always exploring. I'm like a kid discovering the world with his eyes, his ears, his nose, and everything that are gifted to
And
any
I think
human.
more of us need to be more like children, because I feel like the more we grow up, the more we are adapting, we are being too careful, not too curious, not too loud, because you are scared of what the society thinks of you. And we lose that innocence and that curiosity that we have as children. And that's what kind of kills most of the artists in so many people today, who are just trying to be, oh, I have to be this way, I have to be this formal, I have to be composed and all of that. And it's so beautiful, like you always reiterate about your freedom, wanting to just be you, because at the end of the day, when we're brought into the world, there was no manual to, this is how you're supposed to act, this is who you're supposed to be. That's why whenever people ask me, who are you, I find it hard to answer that question, I am this, because it's more like, what do I want to do today? Tomorrow I can decide, oh, I want to try something new, I want to teach, and I go ahead and teach, but not too careful that, oh, people already know me as this, so I shouldn't be too careful. So, what would you say, right, is the one central theme or central question explore amongst all your different forms of art? What is one theme you always come back to that is important to every art form that you find yourself doing?
That's an easy question for me. I would say my tribe, like
Okay.
everything truly related to my Africanity, my tribal aspect, cause I'm really looking up to be more and more close to my essence. And as an African, I believe my essence is my culture, my where I come from, and yeah, I just try to stay in alignment with that in everything I do. It's true that you can add varieties to not I'm not going to say fit in the society, but being versatile, because that match with freedom too. Versatility for me, it matches with freedom, and since you have to act or to be that way, you definitely have to be able to, how can I say it, to mix where you come from, or your core
Your
with
choice.
everything in this world, everything existing or not. Yeah. So that's all. I just let myself flow after that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we were having a conversation before you about how we do not have like an industry that kind of support or kind of amplify creatives in a way. What would you say is the biggest challenge you faced as a creative in Cameroon right now?
Yeah. That's a tough question actually. Because the list is so long. I've been experiencing a lot of things, and maybe the most difficult, and that is in, how can I say it, that I'm able to manage or to arrange, was the partnership thing. Because in our industry, people are so full of ego at times and cloud chasing that they forget what we are meant for, what we are made for as humans, as artists, as creatives. And that's really difficult, because you'll find someone who is really talented, but he will never go beyond his neighborhood or his town, because he's not open to collaboration, or he cannot handle collaborations or partnerships. And yeah, we definitely need to fix that part first, to let people know that collaborating is not like reducing your impact or the scope of your work. It's more like amplifying it, because you are going more you are going more wide when you touch other audiences. And touching other audiences means that you have to get out of your boundaries. You need to break your boundaries first. And breaking your boundaries is going to other people. That has been a really difficult part for me too, since I was like always like like a lonesome guy and stuff.
Yeah.
But I met people that are still my friends today, and we did so many things together than when I was just alone,
Just
like
alone.
back in the days. And I truly believe that to build an industry, you definitely need to know how to partnership, how to handle partnerships, how to collaborate, how to go to people, how to network and stuff. It's really important first. Like build a community, and people should be like focused to who they are. Like we need to be honest with ourselves and honest to everyone in front of
Each
us.
other.
Yeah, I believe that's the beginning of all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, being a creative, especially in an African setting, can be now people are more open to the idea of you being a creative or creativity being actually something that can be moved from just a passion to a brand or to something that you can explore. So have you faced any challenges being accepted as a creative from family or people or the environment that you come from?
Yeah, a lot. And I reached a point where I said to myself, you cannot call yourself a creative or a great mind if you have never been criticized or never been looked down to. Because in my family, I've always been like the black sheep, like the guy who is never going the same way than all the rest, the guy who has his own mentality, his own path to follow, his own passion, weird passion for some, and that gave me more power than it removed to me. And since I was like focused on what I wanted or where I wanted to go, the point I wanted to reach, I've just used those like bad words or negative thoughts towards me as a fuel to propel my energy and spread it to the whole world. Like, and it's difficult because I wrote in a text, being an artist in an African and religious family is literally being a martyr, a kind of martyr.
Yeah.
Le vers dit, parce que c'est un texte écrit en français qui est paru dans mon recueil de poésie God Pace. Je l'ai publié en février, oui, février 2024. Et le texte, c'est La passion du Crix. Crix avec Krix, comme j'écris Christian. Et dans cette partie, je dis, artiste et martyr sont des synonymes quand on vient d'une famille africaine et religieuse. Parce que c'est réel. Ça fait tellement de barrières. Tu as ta famille africaine. On sait comment les familles africaines sont, comment elles sont conservatrices et tout. Encore la religion. On sait comment la religion, c'est un peu... Je veux pas dézinguer la religion, mais
Ouais.
il y a des conduites à suivre, tu vois. Et justement, l'artiste, c'est un peu le rebelle. C'est un peu le mec qui est toujours en train de poser une question après une autre.
Yeah.
Genre, voilà, il faut creuser,
Coloring
creuser,
outside of
creuser.
the lines.
Exactly. Et ça plaît pas à tout le monde, forcément. Il y a des gens qui comprennent pas ce que tu fais, ou bien qui comprennent pas où tu vas, qui vont toujours te voir comme quelqu'un qui a peut-être rien dans la tête, qui n'est pas instruit. Pourtant, tu as une formation, tu as un parcours académique que tu suis en même temps. Et moi, comment je suis sorti de cette phase? Parce qu'il y a eu cette période où ils ont fait une sorte de petite réunion de famille et tout. Et ils
Il y a
disent,
toujours les réunions.
toi, il y a un problème avec toi, monsieur. Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Parce que quand j'obtiens mon baccalauréat C, je crois que c'était en 2016, j'obtiens mon baccalauréat C, j'ai fait des concours que j'ai malheureusement échoué. Et là, j'arrive à l'université de Yaoundé 1. Et comme je suis un peu intelligent, bon, je suis intelligent, et tout le monde se dit, vas-y, va faire la filière mathématique. Sauf que à ce moment-là, tu arrives, c'est une toute autre réalité, c'est une toute autre configuration et tout. Et j'ai fait du surplace quand même pendant 2 ans avant qu'on ne me fasse cette réunion. Et à cette réunion, je me dis, attends, vous pensez que c'est parce que je fais de l'art ou que j'aime l'art que j'arrive pas à avancer à l'école? Non, mais je peux pas laisser ça passer. Donc, en fait, poursuivre aussi ma carrière académique m'a non seulement fait ce que je suis aujourd'hui, mais ça m'a donné une sorte de crédibilité. Et après, ça s'est amélioré quand, voilà, on voit, tu commences à, on te paye des billets d'avion pour aller faire ce que tu aimes. Tu reviens, tu pars, tu fais un tableau, tu le déposes quelque part. euh, Tu fais entrer de l'argent, machin, parce que aussi, les familles africaines, on a besoin de savoir que tu es en train de te construire et que ce que tu fais va te permettre de vivre dans cette société.
Mm.
Et voilà quoi. Il faut juste en fait récolter des points de crédibilité, tu vois. Et c'est
Yeah.
ce que j'ai fait tout au long de ma carrière, si je peux dire ça comme ça. Aujourd'hui, c'est un peu plus facile because my parents are more open to me doing arts and maybe polishing my nails, keeping my hairs, braided, wearing what I want to wear. So yeah, that's really tough, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I love what you said about, creating credibility over time with what you are doing,
Yeah.
because most times you just want to see that it is credible. Okay, you are doing this. Oh, you are recognized in this place. Oh, you are called to do what you love. Yes. And then slowly they get open to the idea, because most of them grew up in an era where you had to have a government job, you had to go to the office, you had to wear a suit and a tie and go sit down every day from
Yeah.
from morning till evening.
Yeah.
But then now that the world is changing, I think it's kind of changing the perspectives where they're open to seeing, but you have to show your proof. There has to be proof of concept first. It's not enough to say, oh, I want to be this, I want to be free. Okay, what are you doing with your freedom? How are you expressing it into the world? Now, another aspect of your work that I wanted to get into is the fashion industry. The fashion industry is one of the craziest parts of creativity, and I think one of the problems I personally have with the fashion industry is limitations. I don't know if it makes sense. There are so many limitations. Now, let me take a personal example. Let's talk about modeling, right? In modeling, you have to be a certain height. Don't look at my height. You have to be a certain height. You have to have certain structure, certain distinct features before you are considered as a model. And there has been these stereotypes for certain women or men that want to go into the fashion industry, and they are told, no, you can't get into that, right? Have you faced certain restrictions in the fashion industry, either as a model or as a stylist?
Yeah, a lot, but I feel like it may be easier for me as a model since I had like how can I say it?
The
The
requirements.
requirements, yeah, the height, the shape and stuff. So it was pretty easier for me to get into the modeling industry. But being a stylist in Cameroon, it's maybe more complicated. I'm talking about my experience, right?
Yes.
Everybody has his story, but pour moi, le stylisme était plus compliqué parce que quand tu es styliste, vas-y, tu peux être brand ambassador, parce que c'est un peu ça mon introduction avec le stylisme. Genre, tu es brand ambassador, tu fais des paid partnership with brand overseas and more and more and more. You are working on projects, styling your friends and stuff. But at a certain point, you need to have a kind of approbation. It's not something legal. Like, it's not like you go and have a kind of diploma. No. You have to do more and more projects, have people seeing your work, have people getting in touch with your mind when it comes to dressing yourself first, because people won't trust you to be a stylist if they don't see that you have a kind of fashion taste, a high fashion taste. So it was a little bit difficult for me to get into styling than into modeling. But one surest thing is that when you do what you do and when you do it with love and consistency, you always get to places you couldn't imagine yourself there. Et justement, ce qui me fait entrer vraiment dans le stylisme, c'est... je faisais déjà des projets, mais le premier projet majeur que j'ai fait, ou la plupart des projets de stylisme que j'ai fait, c'était avec mon ami et grand frère Brice Toukam, Brice Davy, qui est déjà quelqu'un d'assez réputé dans le domaine au Cameroun. Et travailler avec lui en tant que styliste assistant ou assistant styliste et co-styliste sur certains projets, c'était très intéressant parce que ça m'a enrichi. C'était un peu comme une sorte de stage ou bien je sais pas comment dire ça, mais j'ai appris de lui et je pense que lui aussi il a beaucoup appris de moi. Et voilà, des gens qui savent que tu fais des projets avec quelqu'un qui a déjà une certaine renommée, ça te donne aussi un peu plus de poids, tu vois, et de crédibilité. Je vais encore revenir là-dessus, de crédibilité en tant que styliste ou peu importe le domaine que tu fais. Et voilà, de fil en aiguille, projet après projet, je commençais à tenir des projets seuls, comme avec Raizi, avec plein d'autres artistes un peu underground pour le moment, parce qu'il faut dire que de ce côté-là, euh, ça prend un peu plus de temps quand même. Ça prend un peu plus de temps jusqu'à arriver dans l'œil qu'il faut. Mais voilà, je pense que ça fait partie du voyage. It's part of the journey. So I enjoy all the little moments, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So you practice different forms of art, like we've established. There's the painting, there's writing, there's fashion, and all of that, right? How do all of this come together? How do they, feed off of each other, or how do you bring them all together or complement each other?
I see. Okay. I'll take an example. When we started with our art exhibition, the Limitless Art Exhibition held by Mapogo. The first edition was in 2023, and I was really thinking about what you said. Like, how can I join two or three of the disciplines that I do into one and only project? So I said to myself, I would do a poetry collection, but it's not going to be a kind of random poetry collection because there will be illustrations, illustrative pictures of the poems. But the poems are also like descriptions of the pictures. And I decided to do a photo series that are mixed with a collection of poetry. Yeah. So that's an example of how you can just combine two of your talents or disciplines. And I can go further, like I'll go in French. Si tu dois, par exemple, parce que je suis peintre, et si tu es peintre, ça veut dire qu'en termes de digital, en termes de art visuel digital, tu peux faire des trucs intéressants qui peuvent en fait être utilisés comme design pour une collection de vêtements, par exemple. You can work with furniture designers as a painter. Yeah, because I did a collaboration like that. You can work like, how can I say it? Styling for a brand that is yours, right? It's always combining things. And I guess all of that are really tuned in some way since they are communication canals. But I'm having a project, a big project that I have in mind since 2021. I haven't make it come to life yet, but it will be the release of my first book, my poetry, like a physical book, and the book will be accompanied by a merch. Like I will do some merch, but the merch will include painting for sure, and there will probably be a runway since I'm thinking about doing it in an art gallery with painting works too, like art pieces, artworks. So that's just how you can merge all of the discipline you master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you just took the next question out of my mouth because I was going to ask if you are going to have a brand someday, a merch that you're going to bring out, and you just, literally took it out of my mouth. That means I'm keeping my fingers crossed for it because I know how intentional you are about your art, about your work, and I know that whatever you're going to bring out is definitely going to be something that is, wow.
Thank you.
So, it's one thing to decide, okay, this is how I want to be, or this is what I want to do, like with the rest of my life. And it can definitely be challenging in an environment that it is not something that is well accepted. It is not something that everybody is like, okay, this is a sure thing for you to do. If you don't want to go to school, this is a career path that you can definitely do, right? What would you say to someone who is still clueless about what path they want to go? They want that freedom, they want to explore or live to the highest peak of self-expression, but they are still one leg
Yeah.
in, one leg out. Yeah.
Ce que je peux dire, c'est parce que j'ai aussi traversé une phase un peu comme ça. Et ce que je peux dire, c'est justement de faire vraiment confiance à ce qu'on est. Genre, la meilleure façon de vivre sa vie, c'est d'apprendre à se connaître soi-même. À un certain point, je me suis dit, c'est pas le monde en fait qu'il faut connaître. La vie, c'est en fait un voyage dans lequel tu essayes toujours d'apprendre un peu plus sur toi et comment tu interagis avec le monde et les gens autour de toi. Du coup, connaître ce dont tu es capable te permet de savoir ce que tu peux faire dans ta vie en général. Et il est plus facile d'utiliser ou alors de faire quelque chose qui est vraiment intentionnel et de prendre cette chose intentionnelle qui peut être une passion et trouver un moyen d'en faire un métier, un gagne-pain, mais de rendre ça aussi serviable pour la communauté d'où tu viens, comment toujours mettre ton origine ou bien ton essence, ce que tu es sur un certain piédestal. Bref, réussir à réunir tout ça, d'accord, en une seule chose, c'est justement le truc le plus compliqué. Mais je pense que c'est ça en fait qu'il faut essayer de voir. Sauf que ça passe par des concessions, ça passe par des étapes. Like according to, like if I have to refer to myself, I need to get that diploma, ICT diploma, to have a kind of assurance or a kind of, how can I say it, an other plan. But it's not a plan you have to stick on because the main goal is something else. That part is just a step to reach to the final goal. Or maybe the thing you're calling the final goal today is just another step to the thing that is coming ahead, right? So it's just like you need to get in alignment with yourself. Keep aiming for more. Like aiming, not for, pas forcément la plus grosse fortune du monde et tout, mais te mettre dans des conditions qui te permettent de vivre décemment et de faire ce que tu aimes, jusqu'à ce que tu n'as plus besoin de faire des concessions et de vivre pleinement de ce que tu aimes à ce moment-là. Donc c'est un peu like in Japanese culture, they have something they call ikigai.
Ikigai, yes.
And finding the ikigai is that's the thing, that's the point actually for me, because on your journey to the ikigai, you meet different versions of yourself, doing different works, following different paths, but all of that is the road. That's the path actually. So I don't feel like there is a solution miracle. There is no formula. Just be you. Just aim for more every day. Just
do the little things every day.
Exactly. Do it intentionally, and you'll get what you deserve. For sure, there's no way you won't.
Sometimes we have this idea that it's somebody we're going to listen to some motivational speech and boom, your life just becomes what you want it to become. But you forget that you have to start with the little things. They say little drops makes an ocean. So it's that 0.1 effort you put today, that 0.2 you put on tomorrow, it has increased. So it's just little things, just intentional little things that you do every single day that, adds up to taking you to the next step. Like you said, you might not have the whole picture, but like taking the first step, you don't know how the staircase is going to look. You don't know how the whole floor is going to look, but deciding, okay, today I want to take this first step. Okay, what's right in front of me? Can I do this? So it all adds up to creating who you are or who you want to be. Now, I know that as humans we face challenges, we go through different things. For you, what is one principle that you live by, like ever since you decided to start living for yourself and doing what it is you wanted to do with your life? What is one principle that has stuck with you from day one, that is something that will make you not lose yourself?
Yeah. En fait, j'ai un petit principe qui est très simple. C'est que si je te veux du bien, si je veux du bien à mon prochain, et si je lui sers vraiment ce bien-là, je ne vois pas pour quelle raison l'univers me mettra dans une position d'où je ne peux pas me relever, ou qui ne va pas m'enseigner peut-être une leçon, même si c'est la personne à qui j'ai fait du bien qui me take down. You feel me? Like, if I wish you good and if I do the good I'm talking about, I'm wishing about, I don't know how I'll get myself into negative situations, or maybe situation I cannot get back in track from. I feel like we need to be true to ourselves first, and spreading positivity, spreading love. Because there's that sentence I like to say, is that love will save us. Love will save us. Since if we think about the other people as we were in their situation, every time we have to take a decision, or every time we have to act in a certain way, if you think about the people in front of you before acting, you'll always be in alignment with what the universe is trying to teach us, according to me. And I live by that principle. And I'm still on my journey, I'm still on my way, so I don't know if maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But I don't feel like it's never wrong to be a nice person. You'll never go wrong by being a nice person.
The world is evolving in a way that people are becoming more selfish. It's more about me. How can I move forward? It's not about, okay, how can we do this together? Is the other person okay? It's about, I'm going to move. As far as it's about me. Every other person, I don't care. But then I think some weeks back, or a week back, I was recording like a segment of the show What's New, and I was talking about like collectives, right? Most times now everybody's about working alone, and we have like new artists that are coming together to create a collective where they're putting out good music and just still being true to themselves, right? And I think that should be the future of what creativity in this country especially should be. It's about what can we do together to make sure that we all reach our goals at the end of the day, that we become who we have been called to be. So I'm hoping that that's where we get to. So it's really nice chatting with you and being able to, get into your perspective of what art means to you and how you're able to express that in your own way and in your own form. So I know that you might say you don't know the answer to this yet, but what do you think 5 years from now looks like for Christian?
5 years.
Yes.
5 years. So, si je me réfère aux 5 dernières années et que je vois un peu le chemin parcouru, je pense que les 5 prochaines années seront super belles. Je peux pas me situer exactement, je peux pas dire où je serai, mais je pense que dans 5 ans, je serai plus grand. Ouais.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. But I cannot.
You cannot say, of course, nobody's going to know exactly where they're going to be. Well, I hope that by that time we've worked on the project that we have together.
Yeah, sure. We definitely need to do something together. I swear to God.
We need to. This year.
Maybe next year, since the year is already taking, like it's really over.
It's really over, yeah. So before I let you go, there's an exercise I make all my guests do. So you're going to write a letter to young Christian of 10 years ago or 15 years ago, 20 years ago, if you could write a letter to Christian in English or in French, what would the letter look like? Cher Christian, dear Christian.
Cher Christian, oh, wow, there's so many things to say. Cher Christian, euh, tu n'es, tu n'es pas, tu n'es pas défectueux. Tu n'es pas défectueux. Tu dois prendre le temps de te connaître. N'arrête pas de créer. N'en veux pas aux autres de ne pas te comprendre. Fais-toi des amis, ou du moins essaye. Reste respectueux. Respecte les gens, peu importe d'où ils viennent, comment ils sont. Continue de travailler sur tes rêves. Continue d'aspirer pour mieux. Reste créatif. Garde la version de toi de 3 ans ou 4 en toi toute ta vie. Et voilà. Sois le petit caméléon que tu as toujours été. Et voilà quoi. Bon courage.
That was a beautiful letter.
Yeah.
It felt so personal.
Yeah, for real, for real.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on
You're
the
welcome.
show.
My
I had
pleasure.
I had so much fun, and it's so beautiful to have conversations. Like we usually have conversations outside of this, but then being able to have that conversation and you sharing yourself with us and your art and who you are in essence is such an honor to have had. And I hope that the young artists who are watching this will be able to be inspired by your story, will be able to, choose to be free and, do the thing that they want to do and just do it well and also stay true to themselves, right?
Yeah.
So thank you once again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jemma. My
Did you
big
have fun?
pleasure. I had a lot of fun. I'm trying to hide it, but I laughed so much during the production. So that si on fait un bêtisier de ce podcast, en vrai. So it was really nice. I'm the one thanking you, since I told you that I really wanted to be on this stage and try to share a little bit of me, of my stories and experiences to the world, since I don't do that much.
Yeah.
I don't do that much, and yeah, it's kind of a new experience for me to open myself to the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really appreciate you to letting me introduce myself to your audience and to the world. Thank you so much, Jemma.
Thank you. Well, unfortunately, we have come to the end of this episode. We had the wonderful Christian. So make sure you like, comment, tell us the parts that you enjoyed the most. What are some of the lessons you picked? And make sure you also follow him on his social media platforms. We're going to put his handle on the screen so you can follow up on everything that he's doing. And always remember, there is something inside of you that the world needs to hear. Make sure you live to the highest peak of self-expression. I remain your host, the voice Jemma. See you on the next episode.